Okay, I think we're going to get started now. Hopefully the weather will be hopefully we can do this while the weather is holding out for us. So I want to welcome you and thank you for attending. My name is Dave Goldsmith. I'm a member of the Catonsville Nine Anniversary Commemoration Committee. I'm going to be acting as the MC for this event. Just a few words to say before I introduce our honored guests: Marjorie Melville, Dave Eberhard, Frida Berrigan, Brendan Walsh, Bob Graff. Am I missing anyone? I think that might be it. And Joan Hogan. First, I need to acknowledge the help and support of Nancy Kurtz at the Maryland Historical Trust, Melissa Goach, manager of the Catonsville Library, and Dennis DuBois, a member of the Phil Berrigan Memorial Chapter Veterans for Peace. Without their efforts, today's sign dedication would not be possible. 50 years ago this month, on another spring day, Dan Berrigan, Phil Berrigan, David Darst, John Hogan, Tom Lewis, Marjorie Melville, Tom Melville, George Mischie, and Mary Moreland went there to the Catonsville Knights of Columbus building to raid the Selective Service office with the intention to destroy by fire as many 1A draft records as possible. We're here today to dedicate an historical marker commemorating that courageous act of civil disobedience, which inspired similar acts by concerned citizens against draft boards throughout the country. I believe that the Catonsville Nine's action on May 17, 1968, which has been described as being, quote, arguably the single most powerful anti-war act in American history, end quote, hastened the ending of the illegal and immoral war in Vietnam. I reject the idea of there being a, quote, dead hand of history, end quote, that there is a permanent, immutable record of the past. On the contrary, history is alive and is continually shaped by the various perspectives of historians and by successive generations who reinterpret history through the prism of the present. Today, 1/2 century after one of the most turbulent years in the 20th century, 1968, the installation of this sign is in itself an historical act. It is our conscious aim to, in the words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., quote, bend the moral arc of the universe, end quote, however slightly, towards peace and justice. Therefore, we believe this to be an honor long overdue. We believe that the example of the Catonsville Nine shines a light for us now in a time of darkness. With today's erection and dedication of this Maryland historical marker, a sign that permanently memorializes the Catonsville Nine, we, the living, and our future posterity will be reminded about and or will hopefully rediscover, venerate, and perhaps even emulate their brave act of conscience. Finally, the irony is not lost on me that a Jewish atheist is emceeing the dedication of a historical marker to 9 Catholic clergy and lay people who were motivated by their religious faith to, in their own words, quote, act out the Christian mandate to resist evil. We were burning draft records at Catonsville to protest our government's burning children in Vietnam, end quote. Those who burned innocent children were awarded medals. Those who burned paper received stiff prison sentences. Today, with true sincerity and respect, we acknowledge the wisdom in their example of how to actively, positively, thoughtfully, and responsibly resist evil with grace and good humor, and with honesty and integrity, while maintaining the discipline to refuse to ridicule or hate the people whose words and deeds we adamantly oppose. I'd like to introduce our first speaker. Marjorie. Thank you.
Nice day. Nice job.
Marjorie, or Margie, or Margarita Melville is one of 2 surviving members of the Catonsville Nine, George Mischie being the other. We're honored to have Margarita with us today to participate in our historic marker dedication ceremony. Tom and Margarita Melville took part in Catonsville action not just to protest the U.S. military involvement in Vietnam, but also in Central America, where they had personally witnessed the disruptive activities of the American military.
Raise the speaker.
Well, I just wanted to confess to you that my principal motivation in Catonsville was truly the opportunity of a place to start to make known what was happening in other places of the world. It wasn't just Vietnam. It was principally Vietnam, but Mary Moylan had worked in Africa and was very concerned that what was coming forth in Africa that was not known at all in this country. George Michie had worked as a volunteer in the Dominican Republic and had witnessed what was happening there. I think the sky is telling us that we better hurry this up. And John Hogan, Tom Melville, and I had worked for many years in Guatemala, where we were looking at what was happening to Guatemalan Indian peasants. And so what we wanted to say was, use this as a platform, and thank you all. You've given it to me, and I appreciate it.